I guess one of the things probably school leaders might face is how can they encourage teachers or educators to grow professionally?
Yeah.
Because is there a lot of resistance there or barriers?
What are the most common roadblocks that school leaders
Yeah.
face? Well, the first roadblock is that most teachers, consciously or unconsciously, don't really want to take advice from other leaders in terms of how to teach.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
just, this is my domain, particularly if I'm experienced. And it's not necessarily a conscious thing. It's a bit of a human thing.
Hmm.
I've never been like that myself, and I don't know why. I'm not praising myself up. I always question what I do, but not everyone does, right? It's a bit of an ego thing. So no, I know what I'm doing. So I wrote that. I don't know if you saw that Prairie article.
Yes, I did. I
Right.
love that
Well,
one.
I thought that was a good analogy. So
Yeah.
where the typical teacher is a horse in a paddock, and on the other side of the fence is the prairie. So they'll nibble on the ideas. They'll nibble, but I think a lot of teachers are thinking unconsciously, yeah, I'll try this activity, but I'm not going to change my default practice, right? Which is probably procedures first, but I don't know it's procedures first because I don't even think about it. It's just how maths is taught. So yes, I'll dabble with these other ideas. So the idea of that article was, let's get our teachers in the prairie for a few weeks or a couple of months. And the prairie is where let's embrace this understanding first approach. Let's implement a whole heap. Let's go for it fully for a decent length of time and then decide whether we want to be back in the paddock or not. Because my experience is once you really experience the joy of teaching this way and the response you get from kids, you can't go back. I couldn't teach in a procedures first way if someone waved a ridiculous amount of money in front of me. I just couldn't do it. So because it's addictive. Oh, maybe depends on depends on how much money, I suppose. That was a silly thing to say, but you know what I mean. The idea
Yep.
of like let's go and explore the prairie. So that's a block, right? Now, to shine a light on that, to ask the question, hey, what's the chance that some of us here are thinking, well, I'm happy to dabble, but I'm not going to change my default practice. That's very difficult for a school leader to say. But if a school leader was to jump on board a PD program where someone else was saying that, and the school leader was part of the gang doing the PD with them and was able to encourage and ask questions and how you're going with this and have you implemented that, that would work. And it does work. So I've just done another plug. That's the department-wide PD that I run, right? So that is a block. Teachers resistant to change. And just throwing some little activities at teachers and getting them to try it isn't going to change the default, because this is where I'm coming from. What's our default practice in the classroom? Is it creating passive learners? Despite the fact the teacher's been experienced and has got accolades, are the students active or passive? If they're not active, then let's change the default. Let's tweak it. I'm not saying chuck it out and start again with something else. Let's just change a few things and see what happens. If the leader's going to do it on their own, that takes a lot of energy to keep that up and to make sure that the implementations are happening and reporting back and whatever. They don't have a lot of time for that. So there's two things there. One, a resistance to taking direction on pedagogy. And the second is, oh yeah, I'll try that, Michelle. But what I don't realize I'm saying in the back of my head is I'm not going to change my default. I'm happy to put that in my toolkit and do it once a month, but I'm still going to teach the way I teach, even though it creates passive learners, but I don't realize it creates passive learners because I've never really thought about it.